My name is Lon Safko, co-author of the Social Media Bible, published by John Wiley & Sons, the most comprehensive book ever written on the subject of social media. And today we are here with Rishi, Chandra, project manager, Google Enterprises, and we're going to be speaking today about Google Apps, productivity tools, and social media, of course. So Rishi, it's great to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
Totally cool. Let's get started. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about who you are, what your background is?
Yeah, so I'm a product manager here at Google. I've been here for about 2 years, and I've been working on Google Apps ever since I started. It's a really cool project. I'm really excited about working on it. And prior to coming to Google, I just got my MBA from Stanford. I spent 2 years over in Palo Alto, and then I'd worked for a consulting company called Bain & Company. So that's a little bit about my background.
Okay, and how long have you been with Google?
About 2 years.
2 years. Okay, totally cool. So you kind of head up Google Apps. Can you tell us a little bit about Google Apps?
Yeah, so Google Apps is a set of business applications which are hosted on the internet or hosted on the cloud. The idea is if you've heard of some of our Google's kind of more famous consumer products like Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Talk, Google Docs, we actually take those consumer technologies and package it and bundle it in a way that enterprises and businesses can actually use it. So, for example, instead of having a gmail.com email address where you use a Gmail product, you can use your own company's email address and actually use it to power your company's email infrastructure. So that's what Google Apps is at a high level.
Oh, okay. And then you also work with Google Docs?
Yeah, so actually there's kind of two core components of Google Apps.
Right.
There's a messaging component, which includes Gmail, Talk, and Calendar. And on the collaboration side, which is the other element of Google Apps, that includes Google Sites and Google Docs, and a new product we've just recently launched called Google Video for Business.
Google Video for Business?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's actually something, we launched it only kind of 2 to 3 weeks ago, something we're really excited about. Basically taking, again, this idea of Google's consumer technologies, and in this case, YouTube, and being able to apply it to a business setting. So being able to allow companies to actually upload their own video content and actually share it within their company, just like you see YouTube do in the consumer world today.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I think I did hear something, and this particular application has like a little higher resolution, higher quality?
Yeah, so we've done a couple of things to actually make it work in a business environment. And actually, we've done this across all of the services we're talking about here. For businesses, they love the fact that we have really very easy to use tools, very powerful tools that can be hosted on the web. So you get all the benefits of Google's hosting it for you. You don't have to worry about it, as well as the fact that it actually works in a browser, right? So you don't actually have to install or maintain any type of piece of hardware or software. But at the same time, businesses have a higher level of expectation around certain features than they do in the consumer world. So, for example, you need to have a little bit more control, a little bit more security, and a little more functionality targeted for specific business use cases. And that's actually what we've done with the video product, for example. Mm-hmm. We actually have it higher resolution. It's more secure because you can actually share it with a set of people and only a small set of people, so they'll be the only ones who have access to that information. And we have IT administrator controls in there, so your IT administrator can administer the product just like you could with any other product.
And that's pretty exciting, and I just love using Google Docs, especially on projects, because I can set up different projects and give different people permissions, and anything that we do for presentations or spreadsheets or Word, we actually can control it, collaborate. I have one project, the Social Media Bible, we have John Wiley accessing chapters and spreadsheets in New York, and I'm in Phoenix, and I've got people actually all over the country contributing, and it's all right there, and it's all easy to use.
Yeah, and that's really one of the key benefits of cloud computing, right? It's this idea that you have a single place for your information. So in this case, it's on the internet, and multiple people can access it from whatever geography they're in, whatever company they're a part of, or actually whatever device they're accessing it from, whether it be a mobile device or a computer or a laptop. That's one of the great benefits is that anyone can access it at any point in time. And the other benefit is, and like you're talking about, this idea of really collaborating with multiple people in different places. The biggest challenge we've heard from both businesses and consumers is this idea of collaboration through email is a pretty broken process. Mm-hmm. So, for example, if 4 to 5 people wanted to work on a document today, most people actually just email that out to 5 different people. Each of them download an individual copy of that document, work off that, their own copy, and then send it back. Now that one person has to reconcile all those different changes, and then if multiple people are working off the different revisions, you can see yourself getting into a pretty easy nightmare pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And that's really the key here is, right, we're thinking of a new way for people to really interact with each other and actually share information and collaborate on information. And that's really one of the key benefits of cloud computing.
And that really is the whole thrust of social media, is being able to user-generated content, trusted networks, and kind of pulling people together in a collaboration.
Exactly, and that's actually one of the key benefits of a product we recently launched earlier this year, a product called Google Sites.
Yes.
And what that product does is it's actually a wiki. And what a wiki means is that anyone can edit a piece of, like a web page, for example. And with that web page, you can easily create multiple pieces of data in one single place. Mm-hmm. So, for example, if I have a project team, I can embed a Google Calendar in that Google site. I can embed the documents associated with that project team. I can associate videos associated with that product team. You can bring together all these different types of rich social information into one single place and have people collaborate on it in a very easy way.
And that is something that I really appreciate about Google Sites, is that you can bring in images, you can bring in any kind of rich media, and it's not just like a web page where you're going to view it. You actually can access each of these individual documents, make changes to them, and then really quite easily just click and they're uploaded and updated right on the site.
Yeah, it's a pretty monumental change from how people interact with web pages today. Most people, when they hear the word web page, they get really intimidated, right? Because generally you have to think of like HTML and how complicated those processes are. Google Sites wants to make it as easy to edit a web page as it is to edit a document, right? Anyone can go do it who has permission to that site. It's as straightforward as editing a document. You can edit text. You can pull different pieces of information in very quickly and easily. And with one button, you can publish it to the set of people you want to share that information with.
See,
that's the real philosophy behind Google Sites.
And that is so exciting, because finally you're democratizing, you're setting up a system where anybody can access web pages and content, because you're right, HTML and JavaScripting, I mean, my gosh, I've spent the last 10 years of my career just trying to keep up with it, but using Google Sites and Google Docs, I mean, it's just so easy. It's drag and drop and click.
Exactly. I think it's a really great product for us because it brings together a lot of different pieces of information and really highlights to business users in particular that there's certain technologies out there that they're just not used to using, but really does enable much richer collaboration. Video is a great example of this. You'll find in the consumer world, video is actually very pervasive. Right? Lots of people interact with video content all the time, but somehow it never made the transition to the business world. And what we believe is that there's a couple of reasons for that. One is that it's just not simple and easy to do so, and that's where Google can change the game there with our simple user interfaces, which are incredibly powerful to enable much richer collaboration. But at the same time, it's incredibly expensive for most businesses to do something like that, because media or video is a very intensive storage application, and most companies just don't have the time or the bandwidth or even the cost to actually make it work for them.
Right.
And that's where really Google Apps can change the game. We can bring these really great, compelling new social technologies into the enterprise and do so in a way that is very cost-effective for most businesses.
And the emphasis really is on cost-effective, because if you were trying to do this 6, 7, 8 years ago, you had to have huge bandwidths. You had to have huge disk drives to store video because it is so intensive. And most companies, frankly, just couldn't afford it. And that was the beauty part about YouTube. And now you've taken it a step further and given us business quality video.
Exactly, and it's pretty amazing actually when you think of what's happened in the consumer world, where storage has actually become much and much less of an issue for most users, and in the business world, it actually still is a really big problem. One of the greatest examples that really highlights that is if you go today to gmail.com, for free you can sign up for a 7 gigabyte email storage in your inbox.
Amazing.
But most companies today still only give 500 megabytes to their users, even though they pay lots and lots of money to actually make that technology work for their employees. It's somehow become completely backwards. And that's where I think Google technology can really change the game here. Today, with the Premier Edition of Google Apps, we give our users 25 gigabytes of email storage to them,
Jeez.
which is just monumental compared to what most businesses already give their users. So we can really change the game by giving more storage at a better price and better tools that actually incorporate these new social technologies in an easy way for the end user.
That truly is amazing. I mean, with the suite of products that you have, it almost really doesn't kind of make any sense really for any businesses to do it themselves, to buy the applications, to buy storage, to buy bandwidth. I mean, you guys provide it, and it's top quality.
Yeah, and you know, the other element of that, not only do you not have to buy hardware and software, but Google will maintain it for you. And another benefit of the software as a service model, this idea of cloud computing, is that we can continue to innovate and update the products over time, and there's no need to install any new updates with it. Because it's over a browser, we can actually automatically update and add new features to Google Spreadsheets, or actually enable chat inside of Google in Gmail. Like, all those new features are rolled out all the time. In fact, we are actually trying to figure out what's the best way to communicate all the new improvements and changes and functionality we're including in Google Apps. And so we had to build an RSS feed to actually make to communicate to our end users what changes are taking place. And in 2007 alone, we had 40 major feature enhancements in the product.
Wow. And
this year already, halfway through the year, we've already surpassed that.
Wow.
We can continue to innovate really fast in this new world.
That is amazing. And let me just emphasize a little bit about cloud computing. A lot of people aren't familiar with that terminology. In the old days, up until recently, when you wanted to do word processing or spreadsheets or presentation, you'd have to go out and buy the software, and then each year or so, you'd have to go out and pay again for the upgrades, and you'd have to install it, and then there was conflicts in your PC. You'd have to have the memory and the CPU to drive it. But really what you guys have done is taken a completely different approach by putting all of these applications available through a standard browser. I can travel anywhere in the world, anytime, log on, have access to any of the software, any of my documents from anywhere in the world.
Exactly. It's that simple and easy. No hardware to install, no software to install, no security updates that need to be patched in.
Wow.
It's just automatically there for you, and you don't need to worry about it. And that's really what we think these tools, that's how it should be done in most companies. Most companies actually don't have the bandwidth to really invest in their IT dollars in making sure that all this works. Yeah. Right? Because it's not a differentiator for the company at this point in time, right? Every company needs email. But why don't you move it to a service where Google can handle it for you, and then you can take those resources you have today and actually apply it to things that actually do generate revenue for your business.
And that's a great way of putting it, is don't put all your money into IT, just maintaining antiquated systems. Put your money into creativity and generating business, and let Google worry about the back end.
Exactly. Now, and I think we've had some great progress over the last 18 months, which is actually when we launched this product. We have over 500,000 businesses actually running on Google Apps today, including very large customers like Google.com itself actually powers their entire IT infrastructure off of Google Apps. We have thousands of universities actually running Google Apps, including top name brands like Notre Dame and Northwestern and USC. And I think we've had just tremendous success over the last 18 months, and I look forward to actually having even more success going forward.
And that's a really great point that you just brought up about schools. I was just about to ask that. I got to think that for the student, for the teacher, the professor, the administration, that something like Google Apps have got to be like a dream come true.
Yeah, it's actually, for universities today, we actually provide the service for free. So it turns out that, and actually it's a great story with Northwestern, for example. It turned out that most of their students were already forwarding their email to a Gmail email address already, because they just hated their internal email system.
Yeah.
And so that's why the Northwestern IT department said, you know what, maybe we should reevaluate why we're investing dollars in something that students don't even want to use. And that's actually what brought them to Google Apps. And today, everyone's using Google Apps. They love it. And actually, tons and tons of more schools are actually signing up all the time.
That's amazing. And really, the trick here is that almost everything that you guys do is free.
Yeah, exactly. We have two editions of the product. There's the standard edition, which is primarily targeted for kind of nonprofit organizations, small businesses, and affinity groups, and that's actually the free product. And then we also have a premier edition product, which is the business product, which includes higher levels of support, an SLA associated with the product itself, APIs to start integrating with your existing IT infrastructure, and includes kind of more capacity and more storage across the suite.
And for the individual, I mean, the small business owner, the mom and pop, the under 10 employees, the writer, the author, really, I mean, Gmail, Google Apps, all of the things we're pretty much talking about, that is completely free.
That is completely free. You get access to some very powerful productivity tools like Google Docs, which includes documents, presentations, spreadsheets. You can get Google Sites included with that. You can get a calendaring solution. You get an email solution. So it is a very robust set of tools that you can actually use to power your small business or power your individual life as well.
Jeez, wow. And then the other thing, too, is, I mean, if our listeners wanted to go out and set themselves up a Gmail account and to actually get involved in Google Docs, it's a pretty simple process?
Yeah, it should take you less than a few minutes to actually get up and running if you want a new gmail.com email address. Or if you have your own business company email address as well, we set it up so that anyone can actually get up and running pretty quickly. And once you do, you can actually start creating new users and these new accounts for your employees in a very simple way. And what's amazing is every time you create one of these new accounts, with that you're getting 7 gigabytes of storage on email, you're getting a powerful calendaring solution, you're getting a document solution, you're getting Google Sites, you're getting video. It's pretty amazing how quickly and easy it is to get up and running.
And everything is interchangeable, too, where you just put it all into Google Sites and you can put your word processing, your spreadsheet, your presentations, JPEGs, all into this one kind of a package.
Exactly. And we've tried to make sure that it's a uniform set of tools that people use, because we found that everyone wants to use different aspects of the tool in different areas of their life. And so that's why we want to make it a uniform experience across Google Apps.
And that's a really good point, too, is that not only are these tools useful for your business, but it's also useful for your personal life, keeping rosters of baseball teams or keeping track of events for particular clubs and organizations.
Yeah, and it's perfect for that. I mean, I get Google Spreadsheets all the time for managing how I'm going to a bachelor party with my friends, and they want to coordinate schedules. It's such an easy way to collaborate that it's very compelling across your personal and your business life.
I love it. Is the new Chrome, is that part of your group?
So Chrome is a new project that we recently launched. It's a new web browser that's available today. It is not specifically tied to Google Apps. One of the advantages of Chrome is that it is incredibly fast to run very complex web applications, and Google Apps is an example of that. But Google Apps actually runs across any browser, and that's the goal for Google Apps. We want to run across Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari, or Google Chrome. Whatever the user wants to use as a web browser, we intend to support.
And that's one of the things that I do really love about you guys also is that for different applications, I will use both Safari and Firefox, and everything comes up exactly the same. I've never had any kind of a compatibility issue with any kind of a browser. You guys just work everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. We want to fit where the users are, and then, again, that's the story of cloud computing. We want to be as accessible as possible, regardless of what browser you're coming from, what device you're coming from, what geography you're coming from.
So you're making all the technology really just completely transparent.
Yes, exactly.
And anywhere in the world, I do a lot of speaking, so from week to week I may be in any part of the country or pretty much anywhere in North America, and I just love the fact that whether I'm in the hotel room or the ballroom, all I have to do is log on and I have access to all the information instantly just through my Wi-Fi card.
Yeah, and we're finding actually two great examples of that. I mean, a lot of people are more mobile today, and they need to access information wherever they are. Mm-hmm. And, the real key about Google Apps is that, the information shouldn't be tied to a laptop. It should not be tied to a desktop. The information should follow you wherever you go. And that's really what cloud computing is all about. Your data is wherever you want to access that data, and that's the benefit of actually having your information inside the cloud. And the other kind of major trend that's happening is this notion of people are much more global in who they work with all the time. So, right. I'm going to have people who are in China or who are in Europe that I need to collaborate with, and you just need to make the tools incredibly easy so that whatever geography you're working with, it'll actually just work for you.
And that's absolutely true, is having access to your information. I mean, not only do you have to have multiple copies of all the different applications that you're running on your laptop, on your desktop, but you constantly have to be synchronizing the two hard drives, especially if you travel. And then it's inevitable. You end up on the road and you're like, oh my gosh, that word processing document isn't on my laptop, it's back on my desktop, and I don't have access.
Exactly, and I think that's one of the killer features of what Google Apps can provide is that wherever you are, you can get access to your information. Again, that's just the philosophy of Google is that we want to make information accessible. That's the mission statement of Google, and this is one of the key ways to do that. Is that wherever you are, you have access to your information, and it's secure access. So if you have access to it, you can go and find it wherever you are.
And I like that key word that you put in there, secure, making all your information, and you can set different levels and actually pick who has access to what information through password protection.
Yeah, and that's again, one of the real advantages here is think about how many times your laptop has been lost or broken, or you hear about stories of laptops that are stolen,
or batteries blow up.
All the physical data on the laptop itself.
Right.
And the huge advantage of Google Apps is that, and actually this happened to our president at Google, his laptop was stolen from a baseball game he attended.
Oh, no.
But because all his information was in the cloud, he got a new laptop and then opened up his browser and accessed all his information in a secure way. No one was able to get any of that information because it was all in the cloud.
You got to love that. I mean, geez, that's how safe can your information be?
Yeah, it's just a different model of how your data is being protected, and again, Google considers ourselves to be one of the most secure, if not the most secure, kind of platform on the web, and we continue to invest heavily on making sure that we have security policies in place to protect your data.
That's totally cool. So really, I'm just going to emphasize one more time that the listeners need to really understand that cloud computing is taking all of the applications, all of your data information, and is pulling it out of your laptop or your desktop, and it's actually putting it out into cyberspace so you or anyone you choose can have access to all these applications and all this data from any place in the world.
That's exactly right.
Can you give me any kind of like a specific of any company that has used it, that has given you some kind of a success story?
Yeah, I think we have several actual companies that we've been working with, and actually they're fairly large companies. Sanmina SCI is a large contract manufacturing company. They're actually a $10 billion revenue company,
wow.
And they've actually rolled out Google Apps to 1,000 of their users, and they intend to roll it out to up to 10,000 of their users
wow.
over the next couple of years. And the real key for them was two things. One is there's a huge cost element for them of really being able to provide these tools in a much more effective price point than they could with an on-premise standard solution that are available today. But the other side of it is they're a very global company, and they need to have people collaborate in real time across these different geographies in a very simple way. And this notion of having your information in the cloud was one key aspect for them in terms of how they see collaboration going forward in the future. So I think that's a great example. Another company is a company called Taylor Woodrow. They're a construction company actually based in the UK. And from their perspective, they actually found that they're going to save £1 million just by going to the Google Apps on the messaging side over the next 3 years. And that's direct cost savings that they're going to achieve. And on top of that, they're still getting all these great tools beyond just email, right? They're getting these collaborative tools. They're getting a better calendar solution. They're getting an instant messaging solution as well. So I think those are two great examples of companies that we've been working with and that are very large kind of corporate customers that really have seen the value of Google Apps.
And that's another good point that you bring up. Too often through these interviews that I've been doing, we kind of tend to look at social media and technology as being kind of U.S. central, and we have a tendency as Americans to kind of ignore the rest of the world. And you just brought in a really good point that it's a British-based company. So when you're talking about collaboration, you're really talking about global collaboration.
Exactly, right. These companies and lots of companies today, even small businesses today, we're finding have mobile workers and actually have to collaborate with international whether suppliers or customers, what have you. And you're just not based in a single geography anymore. Lots of companies have to work across geographies in a simple way.
Jeez. Is there anything else that's coming down the pike? Anything that you're working on? Any other information that you'd like to talk about the cloud and Google Apps? Anything you can share with us?
Well, like I alluded to before, I think the real killer feature about Google Apps is that we're going to continue to innovate all the time on this product suite. Mm-hmm. And to be quite honest, I think what I'm really excited about is not just what we have today, which I think is an incredible product, but I think 2 years from now we're going to have an even better product. And the great thing is all the users that we have in Google Apps are automatically going to get those updates for free, and they don't have to install any hardware software to actually make that work. And that's what excites me. As we get new technologies out there, whether it be kind of social networking tools that are, really made some progress in the consumer world, but haven't really made progress in the business world, we can start bringing those technologies in and actually doing it in a very quick and easy way because of this new innovation model.
You just have to love that. I mean, that's terrific. I know that our listeners, as soon as they get done with this podcast, is going to want to run over and type something in. Where's the best place to start to get a Gmail account or to get involved in Google Docs?
So if you're an IT administrator or a business owner, the place to go is google.com/A. That's where you can get information about the product suite and enabling it for your business. If you're an individual user who wants to get up and running on Google Apps, then go straight to google.com/apps or gmail.com directly, and you can access it both from either of those places.
That's pretty easy. That's really terrific. I really like to thank you, Rishi Chandra, Product Manager, Google Enterprises, for being here today and talking about Google Apps and cloud computing and social media. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
This is totally cool. It's such great information. This has been Lon Safko, the co-author of the Social Media Bible. Be sure to check out our other valuable media tactic, tools, and strategies that can be found in the Social Media Bible book and its companion website, thesocialmediabible.com. For more information about me, Lon Safko, why don't you go over to my site at www.lonsafko.com. And again, Rishi, truly, thank you for being here today.
Again, thanks for having me.